It was a quiet Tuesday evening when Eleanor Adams noticed something strange. It was a quiet Tuesday evening when Eleanor Adams noticed something strange.
She had always been an early riser, and her routine never changed.
She had always been an early riser, and her routine never changed. Every morning, without fail, she would visit the old coffee shop at the corner of Maple and Third. It was a place she found comfort in, a small-town hideaway, where the smell of freshly brewed coffee filled the air, and the chatter of the few regulars created a sense of peace.
But this morning was different.
As Eleanor stepped into the shop, she was greeted by an unusual silence. The usual barista, Sarah, was nowhere to be seen. Instead, a man stood behind the counter, his back to her. He was tall and slender, dressed in a well-tailored coat that seemed far too formal for the small-town atmosphere.
Good morning.
Eleanor said, her voice breaking the stillness.
Morning.
The man turned slowly, his pale face expressionless. His eyes were dark, almost unsettling.
The usual, please.
Eleanor hesitated, but then made her way to the counter. The man nodded, his movements slow and deliberate. He reached for the coffee pot, but as his hand grasped the handle, the lights flickered. For a brief second, the entire room seemed to shift, as if time itself had been paused. When the lights returned to normal, Eleanor was startled to see that the man had disappeared. In his place was Sarah, standing with a look of confusion on her face.
Eleanor, is everything all right? You look pale.
Eleanor blinked, her heart racing.
I just saw a man, tall, dark eyes. He was standing right here.
Sarah frowned, glancing around the empty shop.
I don't see anyone.
Are you sure you didn't?
But before she could finish her thought, Sarah interrupted her.
Eleanor, are you feeling okay? Maybe you should sit down for a moment.
Eleanor tried to shake the strange feeling that lingered.
No, it's just that I'm sure he was here, I swear, Sarah.
Sarah reached across the counter and gave Eleanor a reassuring smile.
You've been under a lot of stress lately. Why don't you sit? I'll make you your coffee.
She watched Sarah prepare the coffee. But when the barista turned back to bring the cup over, Eleanor saw it. A small handwritten note on the counter, just next to the espresso machine.
It wasn't there before.
She hesitated, her fingers trembling as she picked it up. It simply read, Suddenly everything clicked. The man, the strange flicker, the odd feeling that time had stopped for just a moment. This place, this coffee shop. It wasn't just a place to get coffee, it was something else, something trapped in the shifting of hours. Eleanor stood up, the weight of the realization heavy on her chest. She looked at Sarah, who was still smiling at her, oblivious to the mystery unfolding. The door opened behind her and Eleanor froze.
She wasn't sure if she was imagining it, but she could swear she heard a voice whisper.
And then, as the door swung closed, the hour of the morning began to repeat.